thought I would do a short clip to help those of you who struggle with your lower back. Sometimes if you've had a back injury, whether it be a spasm or a prolapsed disc, which definitely results in muscle spasm, we lose flexibility. And often it's in the mornings when we notice that, when you feel a bit stiff through the lower back. So I thought I would do a clip for you. It would benefit all of us with regards to aiding our flexibility and mobility of the lumbar spine. Being aware of our alignment, being aware of that deep abdominal definitely helps. But I thought I'd do this for you. So first of all, we're going to lie down and try and find that neutral position. We're going to mobilise and stretch and activate the muscles that we definitely need to be aware of to support these 5 vertebrae in the lower back, going down into the sacrum and up into the thoracic spine. So first of all, we lie down in a nice neutral position. So in other words, your spine is lovely and long, tuck your chin down, be nice and open across the shoulders. So just take the arms out a little bit so your shoulders sit back. Your knees are bent, so your feet are on the floor, hip distance apart. And then what I'd like is a few pelvic tilts. So we just try and push the lower back into the floor. As we do that, we're drawing the tummy in. So it's best to push your back into the floor as you breathe out. So you take a breath in. As you breathe out, push your back into the mat and then release. And then again, just trying to feel your lumbar spine on the floor. Maybe you can't, maybe your back is quite tight. You've got quite a big lumbar curve, but hopefully you can as you just do 2 more of these. And then what I'd like you to do is bring one knee into your chest, give it a hug, slide the other leg away. Just hug this knee, getting a little bit of a stretch around the hip there at the back, but also opening up through the front of the hip on the other side. If you've got horrible knees, you don't have to hold the front of the knee, you can hold behind the knee. And then change sides. So bring that knee in and then take this one out. Opening through the front here as you hug this one. Brilliant. And then return. Now what we're going to do is place our feet on the floor together. Take our arms out nice and wide. Literally glue your knees and feet together. Breathe in. As you breathe out, think about that pelvic floor muscle and that drawing in feeling around your waist to create that belt of support. And send your knees over to the side. Now you might not be able to go all the way over, so just go as far as you can at the moment. Okay, and gradually you might find you get a little bit more mobile and are able to take the knees over a bit further. Don't forget, it's your deepest abdominal muscle that supports the spine and your obliques that draw you back. So move yourself back, draw yourself back from the waist. As I said, nice and open across the shoulders as you send your knees over, gradually going a bit further if you can. And then draw back, activating those obliques to move you. So as you breathe out, draw the tummy in, bring yourself back. And then the other way. Brilliant. I'm going to ask you to do a couple more. So take yourself over to the side. That's 1. And then return. And 2. And then, once again, bring the knee into the chest. Slide the other leg away, but get hold of the ankle with your opposite hand, okay, on the outside, and draw the leg across the body. So I'm rotating my thigh bone within the socket of the hip, bringing the leg across, but holding the knee here too, so I get a stretch in my bottom. And then rather carefully release. That's a good one to do. There's an easier one that's seated. That feels different, doesn't it? So bring the other knee into the chest, slide this leg away, take hold there as you push your knee towards you, as you rotate. Can you see that? I've got hold on the outside of my ankle, rotating and still bringing the knee across towards the opposite shoulder. Fabulous. And then gently release. Okay, please, placing your feet back onto the floor nice and relaxed. So I'd like you to breathe, and as you breathe out, think about that pelvic floor muscle and that drawing in feeling around your waist, supporting your spine, and just lengthen one leg away. Now in the Pilates world, you'd call this single leg stretch as you alternate sides, just lengthen the leg away, drawing the tummy in. And the idea here is that you want to give your back confidence that you've got a deep abdominal muscle that works. Its job is to stabilise the lumbar spine and pelvis. So we're just going to do a few of these because it's good to remind your back of that. It then might let go a little bit, stop gripping quite so much. So let's do 6 more. Lengthen the leg away. Now I know many of you could raise the knees, but if your back's grumpy, you don't want to. Just be cautious. Conscious of supporting yourself here around the waist. And I've got 2 more. And 1 more. And then relax. Now, this one you need to be quite careful of, but give your one knee a hug and the other one. Just rock here on the lower back. But what we're going to do is we're going to use this position to do another set of hip rolls. So with my knees in, I'm now going to take my arms out, open across the shoulders as always, engage the core a bit, and I'm literally just going to roll my knees to the side. As far as you can, draw yourself back. And then go the other way. That's it. And some of you may have the flexibility to go further. I can take my knees all the way over, and I really like that. I love the stretch around the lower back. So we're working on flexion and rotation of the spine. So as my knees go over here, there's this rounding through the lower back, stretch around here, and the rotation. If your back is really quite tight, you might not be able to get all the way over, but just rocking here on that lower back might be quite nice. Okay, you have to be careful, as I said. So, even if you're someone who's had back spasms in the past and lost that flexibility and mobility, this is a nice one, really nice. I'm going to ask you to do just 2 more. 1 more to each side. And then relax and return to the middle. Okay, next, got my block here above my head, and I'm going to place it underneath my bottom. You could use a big book, okay, cushion might be a bit too squishy, but I've popped it underneath my bottom, not underneath my lower back. I'm literally just resting the back of my pelvis at the base of my spine on the block. Arms out here. Now you need to just tilt the pelvis a little bit and lengthen away the leg, like we did a minute ago, engaging that belt of support. But as the leg goes long, you take it long and straight and tap the floor, extending the hip, opening up through the front of the hip so that we extend the hip, work on a little bit of hip extension here. Very often, if we've got a painful back, we might be very tight through the front of the hips, the glutes, the hamstrings. We might have a number of tight bits, so we need to move them all here. So let's just do a few more of these. Let's call a few 4 to even me out. This is a nice one. And then, once again, so I'm going to do my 4th one here. Once again, bring your knees in, and then the other one, give yourself a hug. I like this because your bottom is on the block, your back rounds a bit more. Then take this leg lovely along. Let it rest here if you can. Hug this knee. Again, you don't have to hold at the front of the knee, you can hold behind the knee. But open the hip there. Get that little bit of extension of the hip, not the spine. Bring that knee in and swap here. That's it. Fabulous. So a nice stretch across the front of the hip. And then return, placing your feet down one at a time as you lift the block or book. Take it out. And then from here, let's go back to those pelvic tilts and take them a bit further up into bridging. Remember, you want your feet hip distance apart and not too far away from you. As you push your lower back into the floor and lift up. Now this is a good one to tell if you've gained a bit more flexibility and mobility. We can feel it, we can feel our spine on the mat as you push your lower back onto the floor. Peel up, sending your knees away from you. That's it, lovely and open across the front of the shoulders. And we're going to do 3 more. Noticing the whole movement here is about movement to the spine, but you're using your bottom muscles to push you up. And the question I have is, how easy do you find that? Well, I'm going to do 1 more. Good. So to create this movement, we've got that drawing in feeling, pushing the back into the floor, as I said, and lifting up. So aware of the abdominals, aware of the movement through your spine. So we're going to gently bring ourselves up. You might use your leg, bring yourself up. You might roll onto your side. But we are going to go onto all fours. So your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, shoulders back. And a really lovely and safe way of flexing and extending the spine is in this position here. So you breathe in. As you breathe out, look towards your thighs. And then go the other way. Look towards the thighs, push your back up to the ceiling. Look the other way. Brilliant, that nice flexion and extension. Good, tuck the tail under, look at your thighs, drop the head, and then as you take your head forward, look forward, draw your shoulders back. And we do want both. We really do want this flexion to be as good as we can, but we need extension. Okay, it's the flexion, if your back spasm, that you lose this one. And maybe we haven't done enough of this anyway. So let's just do 2 more. And then 1 more. A nice one to do. And relax. Finally, as I said earlier, flexibility is key. So flexibility of the glutes at the front of the hip, but also the hamstrings. So I've got a band. You can use your dressing gown belt if you wish. And I'm just going to pop the band around 1 foot. Be careful how you take yourself down if your back's feeling a bit tweaky. Straighten this leg and hold it up nice and high using the band. The other foot can remain on the floor, but don't push through it. That's cheating. I think probably the easiest way for many people not to cheat is to slide that leg away. This leg is straight that's in the band, and I want you to just move your hands up the band. And you're trying to stretch the back of your thigh. Your hamstrings that attach to the bony bit in your bottom and below the knee. Hence why we need a straight leg. So it might be up here. 90 degrees would be good. If you can't get 90, you need to work on your flexibility a bit more. But we just breathe in. As you breathe out, relax and just pull the leg towards you a little bit more, feeling that stretch. Now ideally we hold for about a minute. You don't need to hold for 5 minutes. A minute is good. 5 minutes and you'll be in a world of discomfort by the time you finish. A minute here is great. Just relax through the shoulders, and with each breath out, as you relax a little bit more, you can pull that leg towards you. A nice stretch in the back of your thigh. Nice and relaxed. Ease it in just a little bit more. And notice how that feels. It shouldn't be painful. Tight hamstrings aren't comfortable. I know that stretching tight hamstrings is not very pleasant. I can feel this definitely in the back of my thigh and right down into my bottom. 3, 2, 1. Gently bend the knee. Ease off. Easiest way to change is to do a crafty swap in the air. this foot can go to the floor and lie it long. That feels quite nice. As we stretch our hamstring, just hold the leg up nice and high, straighten the leg, bring it in towards you. So as I said, tight muscles will definitely affect our back. Okay, and it may be, as I say, tight hamstrings, tight bottom muscles. I'm going to show you a stretch in a moment for those. We have sort of stretched around the glutes already in the movement when we hugged our knees. Are you breathing and relaxing and drawing the leg a bit closer? Good. Ease it in just a little bit more. Fabulous. Nice stretch with the back of the leg. Breathe in as you breathe out, stretch a bit more. As I said, we're looking for 90 degrees here at the hip. If you're going beyond, as I am, fabulous. If you can't hit 90, you just need to make a conscious effort to do this every day to try and get to 90. Definitely would help. As we hold for 3, 2, 1, gently release. Take the band off from underneath your foot, ditch it. Give your knees a hug. And then rather carefully, we come up into a seated position, whether you roll onto your side or roll up. We come into that seated position. Bring one knee across the body. Give it a hug with the opposite arm and sit tall. This is quite a nice way of stretching your glutes. Some of you know of other ways. I've shown you in a stretch video, but this is a good way. I like this one. We have to be extremely cautious or not do this if we have a new hip. However, if this is the hip you were born with, this is a good stretch to do it. So you sit nice and tall and then change sides. So basically we bring the leg across, hug it with the opposite arm, so you rotate into it. I walk my leg right round if I can, or foot right round and sit lovely and tall. Now this is a moment stretch. It's not comfortable here in your tummy and it's an effort to sit tall, but again it's a good stretch to do at the end of a little bit of a 10-minute mobility session to really help your lower back. And release. It comes with caution, so for those of you who have lower back problems doing roll downs and roll ups and things like that, we have to do with lots of caution and not do them when your back is at its worst. This, however, would be ideal.